but they don't belong in the newsroom.
Just in, scientists discovered that Canadian bacon is actually ordinary ham.
This made a lot of people very angry and has been widely regarded as a bad movie.
Miserable bloody Romans, no sense of humour.
With what Dr. Ashland just said, do you concur?
Don't talk to it, Mary. Don't encourage it.
We're just like Kevin Bacon.
The only thing that will redeem mankind is cooperation. I think we can all appreciate the relevance of that now.
Welcome back to the Hollywood Thumb, a movie news podcast in short form, brought to you by the parent podcast, It's Just Two Movies. My name is Daniel King.
And I'm Justin Rawson.
You ready to do the news?
I'm excited for the news.
Let's do it. The news, I mean. So, Clerks 3 is going to hit theaters in September on the 13th. A recent interview with Kevin Smith, and he lamented that the movie is going to be, what we're going to get is vastly different than the original script. Initially, it was going to pick up right where Clerks 2 left off in dealing with grief in the wake of Hurricane Sandy. So, like, the time frame was going to be originally right where the other one picked up.
Right.
But it was going to, like, deal with, grief and having all that shit destroyed with the quick stop and all that shit.
Right.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't know if that would have been a good, a better choice, or if going a whole different route would be better. But that's what they're doing, so I guess we'll see.
Have you ever seen Clerks? You ever dipped in on that?
I don't know that I've watched every second of it, but I'm familiar with it for sure.
Okay,
yeah, I've
gotcha.
seen enough about it. Yeah, I know that the two guys are supposedly They own the Quick Stop now.
Oh, they own it? Like, canonically, they own it? I haven't seen the second one. I watched the second one when it came out, but it's been so long, I don't
know if I've even watched the second one, but if I have, I'm the same way. I don't hardly remember it.
I do like a lot of Kevin Smith's stuff, though. Just, quirky, kind of offbeat, weird, dirty sense of humor. I'm into that. So, evidently, this is more, like, when they did the rewrite, he's like, oh, because Kevin Smith had just had that huge heart attack.
Right.
So he rewrote that, and like that's going to happen to the main character is going to have a heart attack that's going to
I read that actually
set him off to the races or whatever. But speaking of being off to the races, Warner Brothers finds their own version of a Kevin Feige type, and by that I mean a dude that always wears a baseball cap. Reportedly, Dan Lin is in talks to be the dude in charge of all things DC over at Warner Brothers Discovery. Dan Lin has done a bunch of the Lego, like more notably later in his career, or like more recently, he's done a bunch of the Lego movie stuff, Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr. The Sherlock stuff's all right. The Lego movies, I really loved the first one.
Right.
But the rest of them just...
Yeah, like the Batman movie, all that different stuff, yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of flat. It didn't have that same zeal that the first one had, you know what I mean?
Right, but I'm more interested in, before all that, when he was worked at Warner Brothers and he did Torque and The Departed, he had worked on those.
That's
shows.
Fucking awesome.
Because
we covered Torque and The Departed.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
It's like the 16th episode or something.
Oh, man, that's fucking great. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how it's going to turn out. I wouldn't think, if I was at Warner Brothers, I wouldn't be like, give me the Lego movie Sherlock Holmes guy.
Right, yeah.
To do the entire DC universe. You almost need somebody that doesn't know shit about films and just knows more about comic books. Because that
would be better for that.
That's the art form. They're long form stories.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, you never really know until you just give the guy the reins and go, here, fucking take a crack at it, big guy.
Exactly. It could be the next big thing. You might be saying Marvel who.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
I doubt it, but.
I've known who Marvel was for a really long time. But,
right.
You're right. He could turn it around on a dime. Maybe they definitely needed somebody with a different vision, I think, than what they were getting. But given his recent work, I guess... I wouldn't say that I'm excited.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But also at Warner Brothers, they've delayed Aquaman 2 and Shazam 2, so that's not shocking.
No, everyth's pretty much delayed a couple of months, right?
Yeah. Well, some things they're just like, hey, pump the brakes, and everybody's like, when are we coming back? And they're like, well, We'll think about it,
Right.
kind of thing. That's what's happening at Warner Brothers for like all of their DC comic book related properties.
Yeah, trying to figure out what they're going to keep and what they're going to get rid of.
Mm-hmm. Like
Right.
on another episode of the Hollywood Thumb here, we talked about the Batgirl movie that
Right.
I wasn't even aware it was happening. I don't think,
No, I didn't have any idea about it either.
and it was like done.
It was news to me.
It was in post production, and they're like, "Whoa,
Yeah. It's crazy something that far along they get rid of.
yeah, it is fucking wild." So, in other news, Hulu announces a reboot / imagining of Clive Barker's 1987 classic Hellraiser to release on October 7th, just in time for Halloween. Story's going to be by David Goya, Ben Collins, and Luke Piotrowski. What do you think about that? You like getting to Hellraiser, J-Bone?
It was interesting. I remember watching it, but it's been a long time since I've watched it. It's pretty disturbing from what I remember.
Yeah, it's like he opens a box and they're like, "Ooh, we're Cenobites. We like it's like S&M,
Right? Hardcore.
Yeah, it's like hardcore BDSM, but we pull our guts out and shit."
Yeah, man, it's disturbing.
Yeah.
I did find it interesting that they cast Jamie Clayton for Pinhead, though. So having that role as a woman, so we'll see how that goes. She looks really good, though.
I saw that. You sent that to me. I didn't see the picture of her as Hellraiser, but I bet just like with her like bone structure or whatever, I bet she will look equally as terrifying.
Yeah, probably more terrifying, honestly. It looks interesting.
And I don't think in the original Hellraiser, do the Cenobites even have a sex? Like, is one definitely a man and the other one's definitely a woman? I think they're all just like monsters.
Honestly, I don't remember well enough, but they're all pretty disturbing. I know that.
Yeah, it is. It's an odd one.
I'm down for it. I will check that out.
Yeah, I like Clive Barker's stuff. I mean, that's obviously the movie Hellraiser based on The Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker. But he was like touted as like the future of horror back in the day when Hellraiser came out. Everybody's like, this guy, man, wow, what a sick puppy in the best way.
Yeah, he put out a lot of good stuff too.
And I feel like this is probably on the right track for Hulu, the way that they recently had the release of Prey.
Right.
Prey was fucking huge. Did you catch that one yet?
I want to, but I haven't got to yet.
It definitely worth a watch. You can watch it with your kids or whatever. It is more, I would say the majority of the Predator films are more sci-fi action.
Right.
Than anything. And I think that Prey is also sci-fi action, but it's got more stuff in horror.
Right.
Because it's supposed to be scary, big scary alien guy.
Right.
But I think that is a smart pull for Hulu to start redoing some of this kind of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, Prey was massively successful. They made a fuck ton of money off of that.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to checking it out. I just haven't got to yet.
Yeah, just re-dipping in on these older franchises that have been, like, mishandled in their sequels or, reboots or what have you. Good. I think it's going to be good, profitable.
For sure, yeah. If they do it right, it could be huge, too.
Well, they've seen that because they did one right already, and it was massively successful. Right. So I'm looking forward to more of that. Is there anything else that you'd be like, what would be an old horror franchise that you'd be like, hasn't been beat to death, but also hasn't had a movie in 15, 20 years?
You could redo Leprechaun.
You could redo Leprechaun. Yeah, who would you get for it?
Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci's still kicking? He is, isn't he? Yeah, because he just did The Irishman.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm joking.
You know who I'd get?
Who?
Kevin Hart. Got him. Got him. Because he's just a little fella.
That would be good.
And that's the joke. That's because that's his whole career is he's just a little guy and everything.
Right, but it would work. It would. Would it be more comedy, or is he getting more into horror?
I don't know.
He does everything.
You would really need somebody terrifying. You would need like a little CGI.
You have to get Zadar and just shrink him down.
Robert Zadar. He passed away, I'm afraid.
Well.
I mean, like they can't bring him. That hasn't stopped him in a lot of movies. So it didn't stop him with Paul Walker, certainly.
That's true.
So that could have it like Leprechaun. It'd be a fun one to remake. What's another one that comes to mind?
Sleepaway Camp series.
Yeah. Is there like a big bad in that, or is it just like a crazed guy?
No, it's the crazy woman.
When was the last time we got a Jason Voorhees movie? When did the last Friday the 13th come out?
2009, maybe later.
That's
May have been
a while.
later.
You could probably re-dip in on OG.
I feel like there was one more recently, but I'm
Do a
missing on
prequel.
her.
Do a prequel, Mrs. Voorhees.
Yeah, redo the first one, you know.
Yeah, boom.
Then I did the idea, yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. It could be good and it might be crappy.
That's
but
what I'm saying. It
it's
doesn't matter.
something.
Yeah. You'll get people to watch it, though. If you're like,
sure.
holy shit, dude, it's a prequel to Friday the 13th.
Right. It doesn't have to be good.
Right.
People are still going to try it out.
Yeah, it'll be called the Jasonica Voorhees, whatever his mom's name was.
It might fit in with, the current world we live in.
Yeah.
You can make Jason be a woman.
There you go, Jane. Jane Voorhees.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could work. You know what I think could come back in a big way would be like the Critters.
Yeah.
That could be cool.
Just redo that. Yeah.
What's the other one where they come out?
Technology they have now, man.
What's the other one where they come out of the toilet?
Huh.
You know which one I'm talking about, though, right? Is it
Yeah.
Munchies? That's
Man,
a
I'm
thing
not sure.
too.
That is. I know. I'm not sure. I got to be honest with you.
We're doing a little bit of padding for time. We'll move on here. Slumberland, which is a comic strip, is getting a Netflix movie starring Jason Momoa. Now, I don't know anything about Slumberland, so I had to look it up, and it's about a child who recently lost their father, and then Jason Momoa is like an outlaw from Slumberland, and they do an adventure or whatever. It looks interesting, but I don't know if it's...
In addition to what you just said,
Yeah.
it's also something to do about dreams, I thought. Did I read that, or was I...
Yeah, no,
It said something about going through dreams and nightmares, so I don't know if it's like also a...
Yeah, I think it like happens while she's sleeping or whatever is
Right.
is the kind of the general idea.
So I haven't seen any previews about it, but at first, first thinking about it and reading what I've read, I don't know that I'm really interested in it, but I will check it out if it once I see a preview of it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, if I see a preview and I see a couple reviews where people are like, "Oh, actually, it's quite good,"
Right.
I'll dip into it and check it out.
Right.
The still images that I saw from it looked pretty cool. They looked pretty cool, but it also looks like it's maybe for kids.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't know any. I hadn't heard anything about
I don't
it.
know.
So
Jason Momoa's got to get in on some shit that canceled fucking Aquaman too.
right, yeah, he does.
Got time to kill.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm sure he's.
What else
he's
can I
doing
do with this
all right.
giant goatee and long hair? You know?
Right. I'm sure he can find many things to keep himself busy.
Yeah, I don't think he's bored.
Right.
So Matt Shakman is in early talks to direct the Fantastic Four reboot via Marvel Studios. Shakman directed the Emmy Award-winning WandaVision and came up as a director on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia before being tapped in by HBO to direct some episodes of Game of Thrones.
Right.
So that's a pretty broad spectrum
Right.
of background to work on, like faux real. Like, you probably didn't watch WandaVision.
No, I didn't watch that yet. I'm still
Okay.
pretty far behind in the universe of Marvel.
It is very artfully crafted. Personally, I think the ending is a little flat, and it starts a little slow.
Right.
Like, you should go in if you were gonna start it and you'd never seen WandaVision. I would say, binge the first 3 episodes, and then come back.
Okay.
Like the next day, and then you can just watch an episode a day or whatever, however you want to do it. It starts out a little slow and a little like, what the fuck is going on here exactly? And the last episode, I think the climax of it, I think, is a little flat, but whatever. It was fine.
All right.
I did like the show. Thought it was really well crafted, and obviously so did the Academy because it won a bunch of awards.
Right.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
It's
It's a fucking great show.
right.
So that was something he worked on as well. And Game of Thrones, a show that I have not personally watched, but I am comfortable and safe in saying that it is one of the most popular television programs that has ever been produced in the history of cinema.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Hugely popular.
So that's a wide variety of storytelling styles
Right.
on his resume. And I'm wondering what angle he's going to take with the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Because I did see another thing. I don't know if this is not confirmed or anything, but I saw another thing, and it may have been speculation saying that the Fantastic Four Marvel movie, when it finally does come out, is going to be an origin story.
Okay.
Which we've already seen.
Yeah, but they didn't do very good. The first one was terrible.
They were bad, yeah. The most
just
recent
forget
one,
that happened and start new, right?
The most recent one was even worse. Like, it was dog shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was another one.
Yeah, it's got that fucking guy from
Jessica Alba, Fantastic Four, is the only one that I even knew existed.
Oh yeah, no, there's a whole nother one, man. It's got fucking the guy from that movie you like, where they put on the headsets. It's like post-apocalyptic.
Oh, Nicolas Cage.
Nope, they go into video game world, and there's like,
yeah,
there's a Transformer.
Ready Player One.
Ready Player One, yeah. The main kid from that,
yeah,
he's Reed Richards in this Fantastic Four reboot. It came out like 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, I think, without looking it up, and it's real bad.
It's not good.
No, it's super.
Why
bad.
can't they make a good Fantastic Four?
I don't know, but this guy evidently can make a good Game of Thrones.
Right.
And speaking of Game of Thrones, the House of the Dragon has already been renewed for season 2.
Oh, really?
With the single largest record-breaking premiere of a series.
Really?
To ever drop. Yeah. I don't have the stats on what it was, but
everybody's just...
That's pretty impressive for HBO, because they really have had some incredible series.
Right.
So for that one to be the highest grossing first episode of a thing that ever came out for them, I'm sure that's quite a bit of money. And it's got really good reviews. I think, although I haven't watched Game of Thrones, I understand it's not important and that you can just dip in on this whether or not you've seen the other material.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I was wondering that. I figure you'd want to watch Game of Thrones. Since I hadn't either.
Well, I do want to watch Game of Thrones. I just don't have an ample 400 hours to kill.
Exactly. It's so much.
It's a lot, yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah, and I probably could dip in on it, and it was like, well, you could watch an episode a day. No, I couldn't.
Right.
I couldn't. I could watch maybe 2 episodes a week. So how long does that put me at finishing Game of Thrones?
12 years?
Like,
I don't know.
Man, a long while.
For sure.
They're quite long, and
I'm in the same boat, so I understand what you're saying.
That medieval aesthetic is my shit, dude. And dragons, get out of here! I'm a huge fucking nerd. I got a fake fucking pewter dragon I use for Dungeons and Dragons right over there. Yeah. I just haven't seen fucking Game of Thrones. Yeah, that's what it's called. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I think I might dip in on House of the Dragon, and it's got Matt Smith in it. I love Matt Smith. He was he played one of the Doctor Who's. I'm not sure which Doctor, but he was one of them.
Yes,
and he was a pretty good one.
That sounds good.
Also, recently was in Last Night in Soho. You catch that?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's good. It's a like an Italian giallo film.
Yeah.
So it's like a mystery horror.
Okay.
Pretty
Sounds
good.
Interesting.
Yeah, pretty good. It's about a girl in the fashion industry. You wouldn't think that would be my kind of thing, but the movie's made so well you can't not like it.
That's good.
Yeah, it's definitely got its charms.
Check that out.
How about Hunger Games related news? You like that? You like that kind of shit?
Man, I haven't ever even seen Hunger Games.
Me neither. I watched the first one and I was like, oh, Cat Piss Evergreen or whatever her name is. And I was like, it was fine. It was not for me. Right. I kind of tell it was not for me. A buddy of mine read the books, said the books were great. Absolutely believe him. He has great taste in literature.
Right.
I'm not going to read the books either.
Right.
Because I already watched the movie, so that kind of spoils the first book and a half or whatever.
Right.
But anyway, the guy that directed the Hunger Games films, which were very profitable. Yeah, absolutely. And for all intents and purposes, were pretty good. They just weren't for me.
Right.
But that director is going to direct a Bioshock film made for Netflix.
Oh, man. I saw this. I did not know where you was going with that, but holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
I am excited about that Bioshock
Liking that?
deal. Yeah.
I really like that, and I hope they get to make it into a trilogy.
Yeah.
I hope they get to make it into a trilogy, because I would love to see Bioshock 2 and Infinite.
Yeah.
Actually, I would prefer to see Infinite, but I'm okay with waiting longer because it's not fresh in my mind, but if they do it now and they do it wrong, I'll know.
Right.
But in 8 more years, I might be like, I kind of remember what that was about, you know?
Right.
So I think that'll be cool. I'm looking forward to that. That's Francis Lawrence to direct Netflix's future adaptation of popular video game Bioshock.
Yeah, man, I'm into it. That's one of my favorite games. I'm looking forward to that. I had seen that a week or two ago, and I had forgotten all about it. So
yeah, pretty cool. That's what I think anyway. This is like the last thing I've got. Planet of the Apes 4 officially casts
really?
Owen Teague as lead ape.
He
I don't
seems
know.
like a lead ape.
Do you know who Owen Teague is?
I don't have a clue, I'll be honest.
You're saying he sounds like a lead ape?
Yeah, just like he seems like he would be a good lead ape.
It's this guy. I've seen him in some stuff.
Okay. Yeah, he looks pretty familiar.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I mean, he doesn't look apey, but, you know.
He does not look like an ape.
If he's being a lead ape, technically he could just be the leading man.
We're all one and the same.
We're just apes, yeah.
We're just apes, man.
Fucking hairless apes. We just masturbate and use currency to get things that we want. Anyway, that's the news. My name's Daniel King.
This was Justin Rawson.
Until next time, that's the news, baby. Oh, also check out the check out the Parent Podcast. It's just two movies. Anywhere fine podcasts are found. Good night.
That's just grossly inappropriate.
Come on, Ed, it's bullcrap!
A saucy line will not get you far with me.
It's not the Bathar, it's a very naughty boy!
Stop being such a dick.
No, it's not schizophrenia. It's just a voice in my head.
Your love of the halfling's leap has clearly slowed your mind.
Good speech. Nice and short. Leaves more time for drinking. Break out the ale! These men are thirsty!
The Hollywood Thumb is brought to you by It's Just Two Movies and is a production of Blue Cheese and Bacon Studios. Both can be found wherever you get your podcasts.